let's go into one of the peak points in power of the Empire from the Elder Scrolls universe. As always, starting with the army. To be honest, there is a lot not known about this era of the Empire, so specific details are a bit scarce, but we do know the Imperial Army, as ever, is made up of many branches of Imperial Legionnaires, battle mages, spaceships, which I will get into later, and before there were the Blades, there were the Dragon Guard, ancient Akaviri dragon hunters. Size and population is possibly the hardest thing to find, but comparing it to the Roman Empire, which they are painfully clearly based on, then hundreds of thousands. We know by the time of Skyrim, the Legion was in a weaker state, but each Legion is 500 men and there were 20 Legionnaires. Also, taking into account the landmass of the universe, the Reman Empire, you could argue, to be as high into the hundreds of thousands to even over 1 million. Now, general equipment and war machines, armor and weapons in the Elder Scrolls universe are more or less made up of the same material as the real world, but sometimes enhanced, made more durable, or enhanced through use of special forges or mythical material. Weapons that the Empire uses are various types of swords, spears, maces, axes, and equipped with light and heavy armor. As far as war machines go, they have a navy fleet, and yes, they would have cannons. So as far as the Elder Scrolls universe is considered, guns never, but cannons, they'll let that slide. There is a shockingly wide variety of siege weapons. Thank you, Elder Scrolls Online. Some can even be empowered by magic. Also, mines and exploding barrels. Pity we rarely see those in game. Shooting exploding barrels would make being a stealth archer pretty much mandatory at that point. And let's never forget armored war horses. Now, Maine did not have control over Morin because, yeah, and perhaps superficial reign over Somerset Isles, they did have reign over something far and wide. The moon. Yes, one of the more fun finds dipping into Elder Scrolls lore is finding out empires had colonies on the 2 moons. I say this to bring up the most interesting technology in the Roman Empire, moss ships and battle spires. In an effort to colonize the twin moons, Reman organized the best and brightest of Imperials to create a spaceship and moth fortress that can travel to Oblivion and even Arthurus. And best of all, they are made up of literal moss. Battle spires became the training ground for the Imperial battle mages. Speaking of battle, it's time to go over the overall offensive power of the Imperial Army. The average soldier would definitely be at least somewhat superhuman all around. Elite soldiers should at least be comparable to the beasts that inhabit Skyrim, like bears and trolls. Then you have the battle mages. It is said that even someone somewhat versed in magic can fire fireballs and teleport. It is seen as not a very difficult thing. Battle mages can cast spells comparable to talented and experienced mages, such as various forms of nature, elemental, soul, and energy manipulation. Spells that can pierce or bypass armor like transmutation, barrier creation via wards, can create storms, manifest hurricanes, summon meteors, and even warp reality by use of alteration. They can amplify their own abilities as well as others with certain magic. They can use their magic to adapt to the battlefield environment, such as giving troops the ability to breathe underwater. Perhaps the strongest pure warriors are Reman's personal bodyguards, the Dragon Guard. The Dragon Guard cut a path to Skyrim, and it was not until they were stopped by Reman Cyrodiil during the Battle of Bale Pass and regarded Reman as their leader and Dragonborn. Dragons are easily some of the most powerful creatures in Elder Scrolls. It would require great strength, experience against powerful abilities, as well as speed. Dragons are underratedly fast creatures that rip through the sky. Now, overall capabilities of the Reman Empire. Would like to mention speed. Some soldiers would have the reflexes to dodge arrows, and the mages can react to lightning spells. Dragon guards can keep up with dragons. Moth ships and battle spires can travel through the infinite void of oblivion. So soldiers range from superhuman to supersonic, massively hypersonic to immeasurable for the most powerful of mages. And spaceships, of course, are beyond measurable speed. Attack potency of the army ranges from and can be enhanced to small to large building level for soldiers and with the use of siege weapons, island to solar system level via dragon guards and battle mages. Dragons should have a voice comparable to the greybeards. With the right items, mages can create dimensions filled with planets and stars. The army. Of course, you have your various groups of legionnaires, imperial battle mages. They would even still have spaceships during this time. The Imperial Navy was perhaps the largest and most powerful during this era of the Tiber Wars. The Dragon Guard are no more. After the last Reman Emperor died, the Dragon Guard disbanded, some becoming mercenaries to eventually forming the Fighters Guild. Now, the Dragon Guard that continued their duties would now follow the new Dragonborn ruler, Tiber Septim, and would come to be known as the Blades. This was the peak of their power. The Blades had a vast influence. They became a larger organization, stretching to every corner of Tamriel. These agents were of every race. They were merchants, thieves, craftsmen, mages, and warriors, all acting as spies. While they may not be as glorious as the dragon hunting predecessors, they are far more organized and versatile. They know many secrets, and despite being much larger organization, are still effective spies. This would also be an era of many powerful heroes and entities, not just Tiber Septim himself, but people like Zurin Arctus, one of the most powerful mages in history. Those in the Elder Scrolls universe can use alchemy. In most cases, the ingredients like marshrow, wicked wheat, court bulb, root, and saltris are very common and cheaply obtained. Can even use a combo of ingredients to turn oneself invisible. Equipment and assistance. I already covered what there is to say about equipment in the Reman video, but pretty much light, heavy armor, various types of weapons that can be enhanced or enchanted. Assistance is something I decided I need to add as a way of counting allied help such as war dogs and summon acronax. Imperial Mastiffs, Imperial Legions as combat dogs. They are said to be as loyal to their masters as they are savage to their enemies. Not really seen outside of ESO, but I don't see why they could not be a part of this empire, as well as actually having the ability to attack. The mages could use necromancy to raise the dead to fight by their side. A mage in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim once stated she could raise an army of undead that could defeat both armies in the Civil War. I used to think that was a bit of hyperbole, but after playing ESO myself, you start to realize how dangerous even an above average mage can be with evil intent. Acronax. Mages can summon Daedric beings from oblivion. There are many Daedra, but perhaps the most known and seen are the powerful elemental Daedra. They can come in many shapes and sizes, can even be rode like horses and still be just as powerful. Offensive capability. Soldiers in this era, I believe it would not be a stretch to think that some could reach higher end superhuman feats. Lower end feats include characters easily breaking down doors, characters with weapons that can directly cut through armor, granted that's kind of a typical fantasy trope, up to more dynamic feats such as characters who can stand toe to toe with giants, and huge flesh acronites, mammoths, werewolves, and vampires, even Dwemer centurions. Creatures with easily superhuman attributes like super speed, strength, and stamina. Enchanted weapons have an effect on enemies, create resistances to things like magic and potions, also gives stat amplifications. Battle mages. Last video, I don't think I went enough into how magic can truly help in battle and how effective magic can be. Like soul suck. Mages can easily suck the souls quickly and easily from an enemy without protection. They can quickly disintegrate an armored warrior. They can use mind control, illusions. Lightning and ice spells can rip through armor. Fire and ice can change the surrounding. Ice can also simply be used to freeze an opponent's body, or enemies on a large scale. Telekinesis can be used to disarm, push enemies, or even bind them. Of course, let's not forget barrier creation, which can be casted to protect others as well. The might of Tiber Septim's navy was said to be great. Emil, Tiber Septim's provisional governor, had much success in the Tiber Wars, but he did not use a navy ship. He used an airship, something even in this era is extremely rare. And if things get beyond even the power of the navy, they can send the jewel of the empire, the red dragon, Nephiliargus. Nephiliargus is not one of the most powerful dragons, but he is still very powerful, and he, alongside the companions such as Abnor Thrawn, defeated a dragon who has a connection to Alduin and was going to gain power to rival Akatosh. After his defeat, he was going to explode, taking all of Tamriel with him. But the battle mage and the dragon contained the explosion, only leaving the island destroyed in a massive explosion that can be seen all the way from Skyrim. And of course, being an elder dragon, he has the Thune, to a degree likely far beyond anything the Greybeards can unleash. Army. As I said in the Remain video, the number of troops should be pretty high, at least in the hundreds of thousands. The civilian population should be higher, and many civilians have experience in combat and magic. While most soldiers don't scale that high, and it's hard to say just how strong an elite soldier truly is, they still have a lot going for them when it comes to stat amplification and adaptation. For many great strategists are in this era, and also having a massive spy network in the blades is of course beneficial. Also, having a dragon at your beck and call gives you a great advantage in air combat, being that it's pretty much non-existent. As well, of course, the fear and morale drop that comes with having to face a dragon. Mages themselves have a wide range of abilities to affect battle, as well as pure destructive force that can tear down fortresses, which includes summons and artifacts. Again, check my last video for more general detail, but comparable to real-world armor and weapons that can easily be enchanted without someone being magical. They can drink potions that can heal them, can use magical scrolls. They have a powerful and large navy that sadly almost completely lacks an air force, having the totem of Tiber Septim, something that was used to create the warp in the west, which led to a mage Mannimarco becoming a god, the Nundawum, and other very powerful artifacts like the Horn of Summoning and the Amulet of Kings. So equipment, I give an A+. So that leaves this civilization with an overall grade of A. Well, tell me what you think. Anything you think I should have considered? If so, tell me in the comments. What do you think of these type of videos? If you like it, or who would you like me to cover next? And please like, sub, hit the bell. Later.